This is the Detroit Sports Podcast Network.
And welcome to the latest edition of Sundays with Dominic and Vito. I am your host, Vito Churko. Dominic, not with us once again, but a former classmate of his at DSL Collegiate in Warren, Michigan is with me today. Former quarterback there at DSL, former quarterback at Rutgers as well, played 5 years at Rutgers. And he is Gio Rescigno. Gio, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on.
Well, great to have you on for this edition of Sundays with Dominic and Vito. Now, really quick, let's talk about that collegiate career of yours at Rutgers. Played 5 years, and when you went into Rutgers, before that occurred where you got to play there, I read about you, Gio. Very interesting to me that you didn't have many offers and actually none, right? You had no offers at one point. How the heck did that occur where you had 0 offers and you get offered by Rutgers? And explain that process for me as well, leading up to getting offered by Rutgers, Gio.
It was a hectic time. I decided not to play basketball my senior year. And if you know me, you know I'm a big basketball player. I loved basketball. So that was tough for me. I didn't play basketball my senior year because I was going on college trips, every weekend to see, what my future holds for me. So, it came down to the last 2 weeks before signing day. And Rutgers reached out to me and said, we want you to come out for an official visit. Their quarterback had decommitted, which happened to be funny. He's actually from Michigan, too. So I'm assuming that's how I kind of got on their radar as well, because they already had a quarterback from Michigan. So they kind of knew about me from that, I guess. So I went out there for an official visit. There was another quarterback with me there. And it was kind of like, we're going to offer this guy, we're going to offer this guy. So I guess I made a good impression with whoever my host was, and he told the coaches, and I kind of got offered, and I committed on the spot. So there was no, I'm going to go back home and think about it. It was like, Coach, I'm going to commit to you right here on the spot. My dad, when he came over from Italy, lived in New Jersey for 4 years. So I already had, I had family out there, so I had family ties in New Jersey already. So it was kind of like, I've already been there before, so it's familiar. I'm comfortable with it. So, they offered me on the spot. I come in on the spot, and that was about a week, 2 weeks before signing day. So it kind of happened really quick. So it was pretty cool.
You're Italian? I can't believe it. The name's Gio Rescigno. I mean, I am as well. So fellow paisans here on Sundays with Dominic and Vito.
Absolutely, always.
In New Jersey, a big Italian population.
Oh, tons.
From my knowledge. And you had family over there, you said as well, from your dad's side. So it made it more fitting and comfortable of a transition for you then, going to Rutgers from here in Michigan?
Yeah, it was easy. I mean, we went out there when I was young, so I wasn't too familiar with New Jersey. I didn't know anything about it really, but I was at least, I've been there before. I at least know that I have family there if I ever need anything, which is nice. So it was easy for me to, commit to that.
So recruited by Kyle Flood, played for him for a bit, and then Chris Ash. So 2 different headmen. How are they different? And was it, something getting used to Kyle Flood in comparison to Ash once Ash took over?
Well, Coach Flood, he... Obviously, every coach is different. Coaches have different philosophies. They have different ways to do things. When I was there with Coach Flood, I was still learning how to handle myself and learning my routine of in college and playing college football, which is it's unbelievable responsibility. And you kind of, when you're young, you don't really realize that. So you don't really know how to handle yourself. And the ones that do figure it out early have a better advantage. So seeing guys like Trevor Lawrence being able to play as freshmen and go to the national championship, it's unbelievable. Because I remember how I was when I was a freshman. I couldn't even throw a ball. Like, you just forget stuff because you have so much other stuff going on. So I wish that I had knowledge of, obviously hindsight's 2020. I wish I knew stuff when I was a freshman and sophomore when I was there with Coach Flood that I can, take back because, I was an immature young freshman, sophomore that didn't really know that much. So it was just me learning how to adapt and becoming, kind of working my way up. So when Coach Ash came in, kind of started to change for me a little bit. The one thing that Coach Ash, he did unbelievable was the strength coach, Coach Kenny Parker, came from Ohio State, unbelievable guy. He really changed me a lot in terms of, weight room, because that's majority of our stuff is in the weight room. Like, people don't really see that. Like, they see us out in the field playing games, but majority of it, off season, summer, it's all weight room stuff. So we're spending a majority of time with the strength coach instead of the coaches, actually. So he changed a lot for me. He did so much for me. obviously mentally, physically, my body changed so much. So
you're bigger now than you were at De La Salle, right? I mean, that's when you were playing.
Well, right now, I'm pretty big.
You slimmed down.
Now,
but, you look all right. But anyways.
But yeah, well, when I went to Rutgers, I didn't play basketball, so I wasn't doing a lot of cardio. I was just doing a lot of throwing and stuff because I don't know what I'm doing. So I was like 235, I want to say. And I go to Rutgers, and I was probably around 225. And when Coach Parker came, I was the same, but I put on a lot of muscle, so I looked a lot bigger. And I have the transformation pictures, and they're absolutely ridiculous.
I bet
you should see. I look like a twig in my first picture, and the last one I actually looked pretty decent. So yeah, just the strength was a huge component for me, and that's just kind of something that really changed for me. It kind of helped me, propel me to actually be able to play.
So a big-time difference from high school at De La Salle. Now, we have the weight room. I went there as well. Obviously, I know about the weight room, and it's a bit more maybe advanced now than when both of us were there.
Yeah.
But comparatively speaking, obviously, no doubt there's a difference between a high school workout room, right, and weight room, and then a D1 school's weight room, right? And you saw that firsthand going to Rutgers then, it sounds like, Gio.
Yeah, we when I first got there, we had a great weight room, and then we had a donation, so they redid the weight room. So I got to see another version of the weight room, which was pretty nice, really nice weight room. They take care of us over there. They definitely do. But the good thing about De La Salle prepared me, we did a lot of fundamental stuff in the weight room. Coach Lewis did that helped me out, kind of basic lifts that when I did go to Rutgers, I was prepared for some of this stuff. And you can tell some guys didn't do that before. Never did, cleans, which is a huge thing people do in football, stuff, kind of stuff like that. So I was kind of prepared in that sense, but, obviously it's just a different animal. It's a different animal because it's not just the fact that you're doing these lifts. It's the fact that, you have new coaches and they're yelling at you constantly, and it's just a different dynamic, and you're a freshman and you just don't know what's going on. So it's definitely a different dynamic, which is interesting.
I mean, Paul Verska, though, he yelled as well, and that coaching staff, right? So those guys still did. And anyways, about the weight and being strong and bulky enough, there is that level of importance with even playing the quarterback position, which I don't think people realize that, Gio. Obviously, you fully do. I mean, you had to bulk up. You couldn't be a twig, even playing the quarterback position, right? Because of taking the hits, absorbing all of them, and getting back up after a big blindside hit or any kind of hit you took on the football field, right?
And unfortunately, my mentality is I just don't like to slide for some reason. So I take...
probably not the smartest then, I guess?
Not the smartest at all. So I take a lot of unnecessary hits. And it really comes back to bite me the day after, 2 days after. But it's kind of like, I play in the game. I kind of just, that's just how I play. I can't change it. And my last game, Michigan State, I literally said, I'm not sliding. You're
going for it all, right? And you had that one big play, right, as well that went viral. Was it a third down play or fourth down play where you had to take a hit? You ran for some extra yardage. And it was a hell of a highlight then, too, subsequently, I know.
I just took a lot of unnecessary hits. But, you definitely have to bulk up. It's just you have to. If you're too... You got to put on weight because you're going to take a lot of hits because there's a lot of big guys out there in the Big Ten. They're massive. So.
And playing in the Big Ten, it's tough for anybody. And I hate to bring it up, but it was tough at Rutgers, right? A lot of losing, the losses piled up. How tough was that at times, Gio? Talk about that. So not only physically, right, being out there training hardcore all week long for a game and then you lose, but mentally, right, to keep going through the reps. In practice, in the game, and then to lose. And as they piled up, Gio, how hard was it to go through all those losses mentally and physically?
No, it's very tough because what people fail to realize is that we're putting in tons of work behind the scenes. Like the whole offseason, everything leading up to the season, we're getting killed in the weight room. We're putting in so much work. And then for us to go into the season and not perform and not win games is tough. And it just kind of gets repetitive to the point where we're trying to say the same things to each other. We're trying to, pick people up, and it gets to the point where you can only say so much because there's no results. We're not having any results. So it's definitely tough. Kind of find out who the real people are on your team, who the real, players are, who really wants to be there. Those guys kind of stand out because they still try hard, they still work hard, they still play. It's just tough because, obviously you're in it to win it. You want to win games. But, it builds character. It really does. It pushes you forward. It builds character. And you kind of find out who you really are inside because no one can really go through a couple losing seasons and still want to keep going and keep going and keep going. So,
and guys do end up leaving football completely or transferring or just giving up. I mean, I think of my cousin, a little bit off topic, but not completely because he played collegiately at Western Michigan, and they suffered a lot of losses in the MAC, and a lot of guys lost because of a coaching change. The coach that he was recruited by, just like you, ended up being fired. So you had another guy take over, and it kind of weeds out the guys that aren't meant for taking the hits and going through everything mentally and physically.
Yeah.
So you had to go through a ton. I mean, you really did that with the coaching changes, with the losing, not always playing. And then I guess to get to my point now, did you ever think about just leaving it completely, just giving up football because it was too much to take, everything collectively?
Yeah, not football because I love football. Football's, I would never, I would never stop just playing football. I don't think that would be, it's kind of not how I'm built. It's just always something that's going to be in me just to want to play because I'm competitive. Did I want to transfer sometimes? For sure. I mean, you definitely have those thoughts cross your mind because you're not winning, you're not performing, and especially when I wasn't playing. So you're like, I can't play and we're losing all these games. I mean, what am I doing? So you question yourself as well. But, part of it is just keep plugging away, keep working hard, and hopefully, it pays off. So, fortunately it did for me. I definitely had my fair share chance to play. But like I said, I wish I can go back a couple times and just change, the way I kind of carried myself my freshman and sophomore year just to be a little more productive and understanding. But, that's part of it as well. That's the learning process of it.
You live and learn,
Yep,
right? Like
absolutely.
you just said in so many words. By your 5th year, your teammates loved you, man. You were a beloved figure in the locker room. I read. Now, I obviously didn't see firsthand, but I heard about it. And media, man, loved you. You were like a media darling. They would love talking to you because you were easy to talk to. And I can tell right now talking with you via this podcast.
Yeah,
So
that's important to me. That's always important to me. I always respect the media and what they do, and I always wanted to be professional with them and give them their fair shake, and I never denied doing it. I've always wanted to do it, so that was important to me, and as well as the locker room. Obviously, that's just like the number one thing for me. That always was the number one thing with me, was just to have a strong relationship with everybody on the team. So.
a nice guy you are then, and Italian.
I appreciate that.
How do you beat that? You can't beat that. And then, once again, the teammates loved you, and subsequently, you were named a team captain, and I think unanimously. Everybody just named you a team captain for your final year at Rutgers.
Yeah.
What did that mean to you being named a team captain?
Yeah, that was that's an awesome feeling. It really is. They have a list of all the captains outside of the locker room, and I always thought, I want to be on that board one day. And to actually be, captain at Rutgers is actually a tremendous honor, and it means a lot to me. It's always something I strive for. It's one of my goals that I had, and it means a lot. It's almost more important to me than anything else, just because like I said, the locker room, having those relationships with my teammates and stuff like that, it'll never go away. So it's really important to me.
And then your final game at State. Now, you already kind of brought it up a little bit. You had that great viral moment as well in your final collegiate game.
Yeah.
It was cool to check you out in that. I'm glad you got that experience. And you started as well in that game, which was big, I know, for you, your family, and friends collectively. Can you walk me through that week leading up to that game and to that experience playing in that game as well, your final game once again collegiately?
Yeah, I was very fortunate to get the start for that game, especially my last game. Being in Michigan, so it meant a lot to me. I didn't feel tons of pressure. I just wanted to go out and play. I just wanted to play, and I didn't want the game to end, to be honest with you. I just wanted to keep playing. If the game was still going on right now, I'd still be going. But it was an unbelievable experience. I had tons of family and friends there. So it was an unbelievable experience. I always think back to the game. I really do, because it just kind of eats me alive. Some things that I wish I could have done a little differently. But yeah, it was an unbelievable, week leading up to it. Very hyped leading up to it, and we came close. We really did. I think what was the final score? 14-10.
I was going to say 14-13 or something like that. It was very close.
They scored, and then we went down and actually got into their territory about the 30-yard line. So we were pretty close to scoring there. A couple downs. I wish I would have done something a little differently, but that's part of it. So.
And you still think about
All
some
the
of that
time.
stuff, I
And it
can
makes
tell,
my
man,
hands
even
sweaty.
now. Because that was
Just because-
2018. That's already almost 2 years, not quite 2
Year
years,
and a half,
obviously.
yeah.
But it's been a while, and you still think about some of those moments where,
Just
hey, man,
because I'm so
you could have done better.
I'm so competitive, and football obviously just is everything to me. So for example, it was a 3rd down and 6. It was our last drive. We were down there going in the score. Hopefully, it was 3rd down and 6, and we called the pass play. And I've been scrambling the whole game, running off, and for some reason I didn't scramble. I didn't run off. I just threw a pass incomplete, and then 4th and 6, the same thing, and then it was an interception. For me, I just think about why don't I just try to make a play? Why don't I scramble, try to do something, extend the play a little bit? I've been doing it all game. So stuff like that, it just kind of eats me alive. Just because I'm so competitive, it just keeps going in my mind. I just want to always So that's just how I am, though. So.
And that never quit and warrior mentality.
Yeah.
I can tell you really possess that, Gio. Where did you learn that? Like, what is the source? What are the sources of that mentality for yourself?
I've never been the guy. I've never been the guy to, hey, Gio, you're the guy. I've never been that. I've always been the guy that has to come up from, like, you got to work hard for it and hope you get your chance. And when you get your chance, you have to take opportunity of it. And if you don't, you'll never get another chance again. So it's kind of how my college career went. And even in high school, I didn't play quarterback until my senior year. I had to wait, and I had to work hard, and I had to grind for it. And when I did have it, I take advantage of the opportunity. And kind of same thing happened at Rutgers. Like, my first time ever playing, the week before, I was on scout team the whole week. They come up to me. That was after we lost to Michigan 78-0. Then I come the next week, and they go, Gio, you're going on scout team. I go, I'm going on scout team. And we talked about this earlier. Like, we just lost 78-0. I'm going on scout team. I mean, I can't even play, and we just lost 78-0. So I said, screw this. I'm going to go hard. I started, we did Illinois, fortunately, did a lot of zone read stuff with the quarterback, so the quarterback was running a lot. So the head coach is always with the defense. So on offensive scout, I'm just, tearing up the defense, running, not stopping. No one tackles in those periods, but I don't care. I'm running through kids, and their kids get mad. I don't care. I'm just going to keep going hard. And halftime of that game, we're down like 14-0, and he goes, Gio, you're going in. So I go, I'm going in. I was on scout team all week. How am I going in? I don't know any of the game plan. Like, thank God I watched film on my own, and at least, did some stuff on my own, because besides that, I want to be prepared. And first series I went in, the first play was like a bubble and go. And I was so, like, riled up. I didn't know what was going on, so I held on to the ball too long. The ball got knocked out of my hands. Thank God we got it back. So I go back to the sideline, and usually I put the headphones on because the OC's up in the box, and he was like, wasn't ready for him to be on yet. So I heard him say, like, all right, we're going to give Gio one more shot here, and if he doesn't do good, we're going to take him out. And I wasn't supposed to hear that.
And once
so
you heard that,
I was like, shit, man. I mean, I just got my opportunity. I was like, I have to take advantage of it. So the next time we go in, I threw a nice ball. I went for like 50 yards, and we got down. We scored. So then from there, I started the rest of the season. So just kind of stuff like that. I mean, it's never going to be like, Gio, you have all this opportunity to go out there and do it. You're going to get a couple, and if you don't take advantage of it, that's it. So it's kind of been ingrained in me from the beginning. That's just kind of how I got to operate,
And you had Shane Morris ahead of you at ULSO, right? So you were playing wide out for Shane.
I played wide out, tight end, running back. I played it all, yeah.
How about catching passes from Shane? And how about also the rivalry? Was there that sense of competition and rivalry between you and Shane? Or because you were already, like, stuck with wide receiver and other positions at that point?
Yeah, there was no rivalry. There wasn't
so there was
any
no competition,
Shane's
really.
a really good friend of mine.
Yeah.
And I learned a lot from him. Yeah, there was no rivalry. At the end of the day, we're friends. We had some good moments. I played receiver. I caught passes. I just wanted to play. But obviously, quarterback was my true love. So obviously, it was tough. Obviously, I want to play quarterback. But, it's tough to think back in high school because it's hard for me to remember exactly how I felt. But, yeah, I just wanted to play. So I was fortunate I got to play receiver and stuff like that. And
you knew at that point, too, when Shane was here, that you were going to be playing a position other than quarterback.
Yeah.
Anyways, right?
Yeah.
At that point, too.
Yeah.
So, and now you're friends with them. You've been friends with them since. So, very, very cool.
Yeah.
Now, back to your days at Rutgers really quick. Yeah. What loss grinds on you the most to this day? Is there one single loss that really still eats at you?
It's still the last game I played Michigan State, just because I said, I think about those at last drive. We got down the field so quick, not thinking that we were just, there's a minute and 20 left. I don't think we had any timeouts, or we maybe had one timeout, and I threw the most perfect pass I've ever thrown in my life, and we got down to the, their 30, 40-yard line, and we just didn't, like I said, I just wish I did a couple things differently on those two downs, because I think we actually would have won the game, which would have been awesome, but, just kind of that eats at me. That one, probably sticks out to me the most just because, it means the most to me, being in Michigan, my last game, so on and so forth. So,
playing wide out and playing quarterback, how about the differences between the two positions?
Tons. Well, obviously in high school, it's not the same. High school, you can kind of get away with it just because it's high school football. But, when you get into college, that's a different animal. Like receiver, that's an extremely tough position. You got to be quick. You got to be really quick. You got to be fast. You got to run really good routes, but more importantly, you got to recognize defenses, which I don't think a lot of people understand. They think receivers just run routes to run routes. You got to recognize defenses. You have to understand defenses. You got to watch a lot of film. You have to understand what this cornerback's tendencies are. So there's a lot of stuff that goes into it. And then obviously quarterback is, you got to know everything. You got to know exactly what every receiver's doing. You got to know exactly what every cornerback's tendencies are. You got to know what the defense is running. So there's a ton that go into it. But there's definitely differences to it. you realize when you get into college, I'm not that athletic to go play
You can
receiver.
tell you can't play wide out at that point.
Man, these guys are quick. So that's definitely a difference. But I did my freshman year. I did play scout team receiver.
How was that?
That was fun. That was fun because I think I shock little people with my
more speed and athleticism.
My speed and athleticism. Yeah, I definitely do. They don't think I'm gonna be that quick or fast, but I kind of am. I get out there a little bit, but I still have a very sour taste in my mouth about anything to do with catching a ball. And that's just because I messed up the Philly special when we played Penn State.
That's tough on you to this day, huh?
Yeah, it's
Thinking
just
of that.
because, I played, like I said, I played receiver. I made catches. I always catch the ball. Yeah, I drop balls, sure. But, we ran it in practice tons of time. I caught it normally and just, I don't know, when the moment got to me, I guess. It is what it is, and I dropped it. So, that's kind of tough because... And I played receiver for a long time.
Yeah, you knew how to do it. You caught passes before.
Yeah.
So you, if any quarterback, should have been able to catch a pass, right?
Yeah.
And that's why you're probably even harder on yourself with that drop pass, right?
Yeah, it's tough. So it is what it is, though.
It is what it is, right? In the grand scheme of life, altogether, it's like that. But anyways, I did ask you. I didn't even get you to answer because I asked you another question on top of it. But really quick, catching passes from Shane Morris.
Yeah.
What was that like? Because I know he can throw a really hard pass, too.
Yeah.
So what was that like?
What's different is he's lefty, so the ball spins differently, and I remember that being different. But thankfully, he was really the only quarterback I was catching from, so I kind of got used to it. But yeah, that was cool because everyone knows he spin the crap out of the ball, so that's pretty cool.
He can sling it, he can spin it, and you could as well. Now, how about in your life right now, moving forward? Is there any way in which you get into some football coaching? And I know you're doing a podcast. I'll let you pitch that eventually as well in this edition of Sundays with Dominic and Vito. But also, how about, football coaching for you coming up at any time in the near or long-term future?
I'll do this favor for you. I'm going to go play football in Milan, Italy for 4 months this season.
Beautiful. So breaking news.
Yeah.
Is that what this is?
I haven't told anybody yet. So I'm going to go do that for 4 months for a season, play ball, one last time.
In
see
Milan.
How it goes. In Milan.
Oh,
so
it's got to be beautiful, too,
Yeah,
huh?
nobody, it's an experience. It's an opportunity. Obviously, I have family in Italy. I've been there tons of times. And at this time of my life, when else would I be able to do this? So that should be fun. I'll get to play. So yeah, that's going to happen here in February. The season starts in March. It goes to June. So not too long, nothing crazy. Just kind of have a good experience, travel a little bit, stuff like that. So that should be fun. I did coach at UAD in this past fall.
You did for
with
Matt
Coach
Lewis. Then. Okay. How did that go?
It went great. I had a great experience. It was a good time. A lot of, being around kids, it's fun. Because when I came back from Rutgers, I came back after my pro day just to see if anything shaked out with the NFL. Nothing really shaked out. Then I graduated. And then by that time, I was like, limbo. And I was like, man, I miss football. I want to get back into it. So I just, I said, Coach Lewis, I'll come help you out. So I coached the quarterbacks, helped out with the offense, coached the receivers. So it was fun. I built a good relationship with some of the players. And obviously, the coaches I'm all familiar with. They coached me at Salle in high school. So it was a cool experience, and I'm happy I did it. And if I can help out next year, I'd love to. So we'll see. But yeah, that was fun.
What's the league called in Italy that you're going to be playing in, by the way?
I'm not really sure exactly what the league is called. I just know they have like I'm pretty sure they call it like soccer Serie A. It's like, soccer works Serie A, Serie B, Serie C. So they have different levels of football. So, this is a Serie A. It's the top level football they have. It's pretty good football. It's definitely, I'm not going out there for the football experience necessarily. I'm going out there more just for the experience as a whole. And football's kind of like I get to play football again, which is a bonus. I'll have an American receiver with me too, which will be nice. They allow two Americans. I'm a dual citizen though, so I'm a citizen in Italy as well.
That's a cool fact to it.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah. So it kind of helps me out because we get one more American as well. So it's going to be fun. Just have a good time, good experience, and kind of see how it goes from there.
Well, congrats and good luck to you with that as well,
Thank you.
Gio. Now let's transition to this: the NFL, which I know you watch a ton of as well. And are you a Tennessee fan?
I am huge, massive.
I saw on your Twitter
I'm
handle.
so riled up this week.
They can do it, right? Is that what you're thinking? What do you think is going to happen? Because they got to play Baltimore.
Yeah, let me.
A tough task ahead.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing. Everyone's hyped up on Baltimore. They're a 10-point favorite. Everyone's hyped up on Baltimore. I get that. They got Lamar Jackson. They have the number one rushing offense in terms of total yards in the NFL. They have a great defense, and they've been winning games, big games all year. But this is the thing. So they watched the film last week from the Titans beating the Patriots, and they see a lot of Derrick Henry. That's all they see is actually it's Derrick
It was all
Henry.
running with Derrick Henry, right?
And they see no Ryan Tannehill, which Ryan Tannehill has had a great season since he took over in Week 7. Great season. I mean, he's obviously, if you look at the stats, he's one of the top quarterbacks in the NFL in terms of stats, in terms of quarterback average, and quarterback rating, and, just quarterback, in general. Is he the best quarterback in the NFL? No, but he's a great quarterback. So what I don't think they understand is that if they want to just stop Derrick Henry the whole game, they can do that, but it's going to open up a lot of play action and a lot of passing for Ryan Tannehill. And there was not any productivity from any receivers in the last game because, quite frankly, we didn't need to because Derrick Henry was just an absolute monster. So we do have a great rookie wide receiver, A.J. Brown, up for Rookie of the Year. Unbelievable wide receiver, over 1,000 yards receiving this year. And we have Corey Davis on the other side, which is nice. So I think we have weapons, and I think we will surprise a lot of people, especially if they just try to stop Derrick Henry. If they try to stop Derrick Henry, I really think it's going to open up. I think our passing attack will do fine. I think it's going to surprise a lot of people because they saw last week he had 70 yards passing, whatever. That hasn't happened all year. And I think the Patriots' secondary is a little better than Baltimore's, in my opinion. So I think it's going to be a very interesting game. A 10-point favorite. If I'm a betting man, I'm taking the Titans at plus 10. I don't. And then you just have to look on the other side of the ball. All you got to do is contain Lamar Jackson and keep him in the pocket. And no one's been able to do it.
So, yeah, will they? That's the big question mark, like you said.
It's the playoffs, so it's different. It's different. And we had the, opportunity to play an extra game in the playoffs, technically. You know what I mean? Well, I would actually say week 17 for us was the playoffs because we had to win to get in. So that's a playoff game. And then this week, we just won versus New England. So I think our confidence is through the roof. So I don't know. Anything can happen. I just feel really good about it.
And Tannehill has to do more, right? Tannehill has to play better, complete more passes for them to beat Baltimore because New England, good defense, but Brady in that offensive attack of New England was shoddy all year long, right? Brady's regressed. You could get away with it, per se, against New England. And the Titans did, too.
Yeah, we didn't. Well, the fortunate thing, like I said, we didn't have to do anything because Derrick Henry was just a beast. Like, if he rushes for 220 yards, most likely you're going to win the game because you're managing the clock, you're burning clock. So yeah, if Derrick Henry isn't up and he isn't having a good game, which I don't expect to happen, I expect him to have a solid game. And obviously he might not have 220 yards again, but he might have, 100, 110, which I kind of expect just because when it gets later on to the game, such a big running back like that, a force like that, you don't want to tackle him that late in the game. Like first quarter, second quarter, he might start off slow and might get onto it, but third quarter, late third quarter, fourth quarter, after 25 carries, these guys don't want to tackle him anymore. And once they realize that, they get tired. Now the pass game opens. So that's kind of how it works. That's how the Titans have played all year. They've always started off slow in the first half. And then the second half, they come alive just because he kind of opens everything up because defense gets tired of wanting to tackle Derrick Henry just because he's such a force. You know what I mean? So it's going to be interesting. I'm very excited about the game.
Henry can turn on beast mode so quick. No offense to Marshawn Lynch, but Derrick Henry is the current beast mode, and even better. Because I view Henry, maybe Marshawn Lynch is a future Hall of Famer too. But Henry, if he keeps up the pace, man, as you know yourself, he's a future Hall of Famer, it looks like.
He keeps it up like this.
Yeah. Be crazy good right now. He looks like an Eric Dickerson, right, with that size and capability of just bulldozing.
I don't think people realize how fast he is. The guy's
faster than you think.
The guy's so fast, especially when he gets to the open field. It's going to be very interesting. I can't wait for tomorrow. I'm going to have butterflies all day. I was hype about the New England game. If you can see on my Twitter, you'll see.
All about Tennessee and that W, right, for Tennessee. A big one for Mike Vrabel, a former Patriot, to get it done. And then in New England on top of it, crazy good for Tennessee and that organization.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I know the fan base, loud and proud, right? And you guys should be too.
Yeah, for sure. Because we don't. Unfortunately, we haven't had that much success since back in 2002, 2003 with Steve McNair and Eddie George and stuff like that. So actually trying to chase something, identity, and having someone like Derrick Henry, it's so important for us and as a fan base. You know what I mean? So it's a good time to be a Titans fan right now.
So now, how the hell did you become a Titans fan? Living here in Detroit all your life, living in Michigan. Have the Lions here. Great organization.
Very well run.
Very well run by the Ford family. Yeah. But how did you become a Tennessee fan?
I was born in Nashville.
Okay. Another cool fact.
A lot of my mom's family's from Nashville. We spent a lot of time down there. I didn't live there long. We moved back up to Detroit when I was young, so I don't have any memories from Nashville. But I obviously have family down there, so we visited a lot. So that's the one thing that always stuck with me. My grandma got me into being a Titans fan when I was little. I was 5 when they played in the Super Bowl. I was 6 when they played in the Super Bowl. They lost to the Rams by a yard.
Barely lost. Oh, my God.
And I remember
Close
that.
call.
I remember that. I was 6, so I have some vague memory of it. I remember crying and stuff like that. Watching playoff games. Like I said, in 2003, 2002 with Steve McNair and those guys. So I have memories of that, and that's just kind of how that's what stuck with me from Tennessee. Besides that, I'm Detroit all the way through and through after that. Big Pistons fan. Pissed about the season they're having this year. I'm not really a big hockey or baseball fan. I'll support, but I'm not a big fan. But yeah, Tennessee, the Titans were the only thing that stuck with me from being born in Nashville.
So when Tennessee lost that Super Bowl and barely once again to the Rams, you said that you cried, huh?
Yeah,
as a young lad though.
Yeah, I remember on the couch crying after they lost. That's all I remember. It's a very vague memory, but I do remember crying. Just because I'm a little kid. I don't know. My grandma's making me a Titans fan and stuff like that. So. Yeah, I remember that.
So the co-host of this podcast, who's not on here, but you went to school with them, my brother Dominic Vito. Don't know if you knew this. He's not a Lions fan at all. A big Panthers fan.
Really?
So he saw the Panthers lose that Super Bowl in the early 2000s to Tom Brady and the New England Pats.
Yeah.
Vinatieri made that game-winning field goal, and Dom was distraught. Now, I don't know if he cried to that extent, but I remember a buddy of mine who's a big Patriots fan called him up, I think kind of to rub it in a little bit.
Yeah.
So he had to deal with that as a young lad, seeing his Panthers lose that Super Bowl to the Patriots, and their dynasty already had started, right? But really went full-fledged after that Super Bowl victory.
Yeah. I get a ton of crap for being a Titans fan, and I think it's just I don't know why. Like, why do you have to bother me about being a Titans fan? Like, it doesn't affect you. Like, I'm a Titans fan, and you're a Cowboys fan. Okay, great. Like why do you gotta talk crap to me? Because the Titans, we were the Oilers before, so we got a franchise in 1999. So we haven't been the Titans that long. It's been 20 years. So yeah, I mean, it's. I've always gotten crap for being a Titans fan just because it's different. Like, oh, you're a Titans fan? Why?
I'm trying to figure out why, right? But you have a narrative. I mean, it's a good story too. Your grandmother. That's interesting to me. Your grandmother really got you started being a fan of the Titans,
yeah, I
too.
used to throw the football with her. That's kind of how I got into football. I used to throw the football with her in her living room. I remember that. She used to knit footballs for me, throw that around or whatever we would do. So kind of, little stuff like that. And then it's kind of stuck with me from there. I was a big Vols fan, too, actually, growing up. Big Tennessee Vols fan. That kind of died down a little bit once I got into college, obviously the recruiting process and stuff like that. But I was a big Vols fan. So, yeah, I mean, that was always kind of two things, but really mostly the Titans has always been like a passion. Like, I just can't. Like, it's just, if there's two things about me sports-wise that I just, like, am dying and I love, like, I would literally, like, go all out for is the Titans and Tiger Woods.
Okay, Tiger Woods as well.
Woods,
okay, who's back? The Tiger is roaring again. No pun intended, isn't he?
He's back, and he's been back. When he went through a lot of stuff. I was actually in Tennessee when he went to that Thanksgiving when he got in a car accident in 2009. Because I was going to a Titans game when they played the Cardinals. That was the Vince Young era.
Did you like Vince Young?
I did. Oh, my God. I was such a big Vince Young fan. Oh,
See, I thought you would have been.
He won Rookie of the Year that year.
It was fun to watch.
Oh, my God. He was so fun. We had Chris Johnson.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
CJ, 2K, right?
Yeah, they drove 99 yards down the field and scored last second to Kenny Britt, former Rutgers grad. I was at that game. So that was the same year that Tiger Woods got in the accident. So Tiger Woods has been, he's just something that always, like, the biggest sports figure I've ever admired in my life is him by far. You can ask anybody. Like, I'm obsessed. Like, the Masters was just like, I was over the moon. Like, I couldn't believe it. But I stuck through him. Like, he's going to be back. He's going to be fine. He's going to be fine. Because I always stuck up with him. So when he kind of came back and was like, slowly working his way back and playing in tournaments more, I was like, he's going to win again. So he did. So that's one thing that definitely is like the Titans and Tiger Woods. It's just like, if Tiger's on TV, I'm watching on my phone. I'm watching somehow, some way. He's going to be, I'm going to watch him.
So back to your Tennessee Titans, though, beating Tom Brady and the New England Patriots on the road as well to make it even tastier and sexier, let's say. I think it would have been if I was a Titans fan. Did it end officially the Patriots dynasty? And how about the future of Tom Brady? Does he return to New England or play somewhere else next season?
Well, did it end the dynasty? Technically, I guess it did because, they're not going to be in the Super Bowl. They're not going to be in the AFC Championship. So that's a streak that's kind of ended. So I want to say yes, but to an extent, no, just because they have such a great staff. They have such a great mentality there. Just from what, knowledge that I know, they're built different over there. They're coached different. Obviously, there's so much success they've had there. So I don't think they're done. I think they're always going to be a very good team because obviously very well coached. They have an unbelievable defense. Tom Brady, I think, I personally, I didn't think that he played bad necessarily versus the Titans. I don't think that. But if you look at a lot of his passes, a lot of, check downs, a lot of short passes, nothing was down the field at all. And a couple that were, one got called back for a legal man downfield, and one got tipped away. I mean, I don't really see any down the field threat. I know they have a Mohamed Sanu. He kind of got there in the middle of the season. Rutgers guy. I was fortunate to throw with him in the offseason, which was a pretty cool experience. Those guys are different. Like, oh my God, throwing to an NFL receiver.
You can tell the difference right away, huh?
Like, it makes you throw better. That's how good it is. Like, it's unbelievable. But I think he needs a little time to adjust into, obviously it's just different, going from, a different system to a different system. So I think they need to figure out what they're going to do, their identity. Is Tom Brady going to stay? We have to find out. I don't think anybody knows. But from his Instagram post, I'm not sure if you saw it. It looks like he's still playing, but is it with the Patriots? Is it not? We'll find out.
Who will it be with?
That'll be very weird if he doesn't play for the Patriots.
The Detroit Lions. Bring him here to Motown. I mean, could you see that happening? I don't think he would do it.
Offensive line? Are you kidding me? Oh, my God. I don't know if that would work.
I don't think Brady would do it. I don't think he's interested truly. I think the Lions might a little bit be interested, but you have Stafford.
I think it's maybe like
with all that money.
LeBron situation. L.A. might be the Chargers.
I keep hearing that name a lot.
I heard that too. I'm not sure why, but because I think Phillip Rivers is on his way out as well. So we'll see. I mean, it's going to be an interesting offseason. But
so he had his lowest QBR of all time. Now, since it's been calculated since 2007, I think it is. But you don't think he's regressing? Or, I mean, has he a little bit, Gio? What do you think as a former quarterback?
He's definitely, slowed down a little bit.
Yeah, but he still has something?
He still has zip on his ball. He still throws a great ball. You can just tell he's a little slow when he moves in the pocket now a little bit more. I mean, I don't think he's regressed. He's still Tom Brady. Like, the guy's unbelievable. Like, if he goes to a team and they have a solid O-line and they have good receivers, he's going to be still one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. I mean, it's just simple as that. But we'll see. I don't think they're giving him too much stuff. You know what I mean? Because it's Tom Brady. It's kind of the same thing. Like, if anybody that's great, like Tom Brady. Tom Brady is in an upper echelon of athletes. Like, if LeBron does the same thing and fails, they're going to give him the same heat too. So we'll see. It's going to be interesting to see where he ends up.
So to the lowly Detroit Lions, 3-12-1. I mean, horrible season. Horrendous second year for Patricia.
Yeah, it's
Gio.
terrible.
And then they bring back Patricia and Quinn. I thought that should not have happened.
Really?
What are your thoughts on the current state of the Lions, though?
Well, Matthew Stafford getting hurt did a number on them, like big time. Me and my dad got season tickets this year because my dad loves the Lions.
So wasn't good how to have season tickets this year.
Yeah, well, the season started out, I actually thought, somewhat promising. Like
2-1,
they should have
right?
tied versus the Cardinals. That was also a coaching error. If we remember back to the timeout, they caught whatever happened. And then the Packers situation, obviously. So I don't think when they started the season, they were as bad as they were. And then obviously when Stafford got hurt, done. It was done from there. I think Stafford was having a really good year, honestly. I do. Especially watching live. I think they didn't have that much luck on their side. They didn't have that much going for them on their side. Injuries. Marvin Jones is a beast receiver. I mean, he's a beast. He had a great year. That's promising. So, I mean, they have to fix some stuff in their, D-line. They don't have any pass rush. Obviously, their secondary is pretty solid, and then you're making a trade to one of your best players to leave and go to the Seahawks. That doesn't make any sense. But see, it's just kind of stuff like that. I always feel like the Lions never get they never get something that goes for them. It's always like, this guy's hurt, this guy leaves, this guy hurts. It's never. It's always something with the Lions. So I think they aren't as bad as the record says they are, but they just suffer from a lot of unfortunate, events.
So 3-4 with Stafford before he went down with the injury.
Yeah.
So they weren't great.
No.
They were mediocre, and this team has suffered from mediocrity for a long time.
And a lot of those losses, I want to say, were pretty close losses.
Close losses.
Right.
Every single game, or almost every single game this year, Gio, which you might already know.
Yeah.
They had the lead at one point. Like that Packers game that you noted on the road would have been terrific win at Lambeau.
Chiefs game.
All these games.
Should have won that game, but they scored too early and they gave Mahomes too much time. I was in the stands. I said, I know what's going to happen. I know it's going to happen.
And that's the problem, right? Everybody knows what's going to happen. You're watching it happen live, and it's like, we know already. We don't have to see it happen. We know it's going to happen to the Lions with their history. And it's sad but true because they had some talent. They were a better team than a 3-12-1 squad.
Absolutely.
But once Stafford went down,
it was just that.
they're done.
I told my dad I'm not going. You can take whoever you want to the game. I'm not going.
You never went to another game after that
I didn't
either?
go to another game after that. I swear on my life I didn't. Because that was when the Titans really started. We didn't start good, the Titans. And I was like, oh, my God. Like, obviously I watch every single game. But I went to a couple Lions games just because we have season tickets. So I went. So I missed a couple Titans games. But obviously I was just checking the score constantly on my phone. And we just didn't start well. Mariota didn't start well. Offensive line was injured. So we didn't protect. So I was just like, obviously Tannehill took over and things kind of changed. And I was like, man, I'm not going to the game. You guys go. I got to watch. So.
I'm out of here. I'm watching Tennessee, baby, and I don't blame you for that. I'm envious of your situation with Tennessee now with the chance to keep advancing in the AFC playoffs.
It's very it's exciting. Like, it's Friday today. I'm so excited about tomorrow. I kind of feel like night game, so I have to wait all day on Saturday, so it's going to be tough. At least I got a game beforehand to kind of get, like, I'm happy we're not the first game because I'd rather be the second game just so we can kind of, like,
ease your way in,
I can
right?
ease my way into it, yeah. So.
Now, back to the playoff mandate. There was a playoff mandate I want to bring up regarding the Lions that was handed down by ownership. Now, are they really going to be... Ownership. Gave that edict, that mandate.
Is there really any ownership?
Not quality. Not quality. Since 1956, I think, is when they bought the team, Gio. Something like that. I don't know.
The funny thing about ownership...
It's been a long, long time.
Matt Millen, if you remember him...
I do, unfortunately.
With the 0-16 Lions. So It's funny, I went into a Big Ten... before one of our games, we had a Big Ten meeting, and he was there. I didn't know, like, it didn't ring in my head who it was, and I had Detroit versus everybody shirt on. And he goes, "Oh, you must not like me, huh?" And I was like, "Why?" Like,
and you didn't realize who it was at first, still?
I was like, "Hi, like, who are you?" I was like, "Oh my God, the 0-16 Lions, Matt Millen,
it's
fire
funny.
Matt Millen." I remember it, so that was kind of funny. After the fact, I'm like, "Holy crap, that was Matt Millen. I know who that is."
And he calls games for BTN. So
Yeah,
probably called a few of your Rutgers games then, right?
Yeah, he did. So. Yeah, but so what's the playoff mandate?
So it's a mandate to be a playoff contender. Now, nobody knows what the hell that actually constitutes because with the Lions, you never know what they really mean. And then, is 8-8 good enough then? Which shouldn't be, but maybe it is with them. 9-7 good enough, Gio? And just
Not
to get to 9-7,
I mean, will they get? Look at the division.
It's tough. So will they get to 9-7? I think I already know your answer, maybe based on what you just said there. But
they got to win the close games. Like,
right?
Imagine if they beat the Chiefs and the Packers, and Stafford stays healthy. Who knows what happens with their season? You know, I mean, that's who knows. So I don't know. I mean, that division's tough because they have two really good teams right there with the Vikings and the Packers, but obviously both still in the playoffs and the divisional rounds. So that's tough. I mean, they had to win those games, though. Those games, if you're going to be a playoff team, you got to win. You got to win those close games. So that's just kind of how it goes.
And can they win with Matt Patricia as their head coach in those close games? Because so far, he hasn't proven that to be the case with 9 wins through 2 years.
Let me say this. A couple times he's had a couple decisions that I don't think that made really quite any sense in terms of in-game decisions. And I think that's just stuff that he has to figure out as being a head coach. You know what I mean? Was he on the field the whole time during the season, or was he, because he was hurt, right?
He was hurt.
And he was in the
had
box?
that scooter. He was always on the field though. Had that? Was it a scooter?
Right?
What the heck was that, by the way? But yeah,
I don't know. I mean, maybe there's just something that he just needs to figure out. But I'm sure he will, because Vrabel, his first year, he kind of had similar things. We went 9-7, 9-7, 9-7. Like we've been, consistently 9-7.
But at least 9-7. At least
making the playoffs.
Yeah,
we made playoffs.
In the playoffs.
This is the first time with Vrabel, but I mean, it just kind of things, head coaching decisions, I'm sure, that you have to make during, a game that just changed the outcome of the game, when to call timeouts, when to let the clock run. Like, those late game situations are so important. Like, if you look at the Bills game versus Texans, the Bills had a drive, they go down, they try to spike the ball, the guy moves, it's a false start, they don't take a timeout, so there's a 10-second runoff, now there's only 11 seconds left, and it's just kind of stuff like that. There's a lot of situations that they have to go through in their head. So maybe it's something he has to adjust to.
And it sounds like you like Stafford based on your previous comments.
I like Stafford. A lot of people don't like Stafford, but I mean, look at the numbers this guy puts up. I mean, even this season, I mean, he didn't have they obviously weren't winning, but I mean, he was putting up some good numbers. He played really well, and obviously career numbers, he looks really well. But I mean, who has he really had? I mean, he's never had a good running back. He's never had a good. I can't even name one O-lineman that Stafford's ever had that's been like a really good O-lineman. Like, I mean, we can think of great quarterbacks and we can think of good O-lines that go with them. Like, we don't have any O-linemen to help, Stafford out with at all. I can't think of one.
And Graham Glasgow, who had a good year, might be leaving. unrestricted free agent.
Yeah,
So if he
Glasgow's pretty
leaves,
solid.
your line goes down a little bit. He's 31, going to be in his 12th year in 2020, debilitating back issues. The thing is, can he even play another down? Or will he be productive playing anymore because of that? So I liked what he did this past year for sure. Yep. Career numbers. But that only played so many games because of injury. So getting back out there, Gio, I'm scared for him a little bit, and especially if the line regresses. Good God, good luck to you staying healthy in 2020 and beyond.
Right. Yeah, it's going to be. We got to see how it shakes out with the O-line because that's obviously one of the most important dynamics of a football team. So we'll see.
Absolutely is. Really quick here for you. Now, Tua has been this sexy name brought up for the Lions, at number 3 overall. But they have Stafford. You like him. I like him too. Once again, should they take Tua if he's there? And he should be there at number 3 overall.
I guess I'm not. I don't think they're going to. But would it surprise me if they did? Probably not. It'd probably be. I wouldn't be surprised. But because I think that's a once in a time player. Obviously, Alabama quarterback, very decorated. So we'll see. It's going to be interesting because I'm excited to see how that shakes out because there's a lot of talent in this year's draft. So.
And Bama not making the college football playoff, but two of the teams that did that are playing on Monday night in the national title game are two really good squads. Yep. And LSU, number 1 overall, number 1 seed. Clemson, the number 3 team that won it all last year. Still with their QB from a year ago in Trevor Lawrence, who was outstanding down the stretch this season. And then Joe Burrow, who I think is a consensus number 1 pick right now, Heisman Trophy winner at LSU. Yep. Those two dudes going head-to-head. Mm-hmm. Who do you like more of those two quarterbacks?
Oh, man, it's tough. They both
really good, right?
Really good. You know, Trevor Lawrence's athleticism and running ability really surprised me last week. Really surprised me. I mean, he played really well late in that game. But Joe Burrow's had an unbelievable season, and it's kind of hard to pick one against the other. I don't think Trevor Lawrence had his best season ever.
No, he didn't. Not compared to last year, I know too.
I still think. Well, I don't think he needed to have his best season ever, just because they don't play the toughest schedule. They have, it's not an easy schedule, but they don't have they don't play an LSU schedule. It's not even close. They don't play an LSU schedule, so I don't think he had to play unbelievable. And I'm sure a lot of games was a lot of blowouts. He's not really playing that much. They're running the ball a lot, so I'm not really sure why he regressed that much. Not saying he regressed, but didn't have the season he had last year. But he's still an unbelievable quarterback. So I would probably give the edge to Joe Burrow just because of the season he's had, Heisman Trophy winner, and considering the opponents they've played and being at LSU and kind of how he dominated the playoff game too.
He threw 7 touchdowns in that game, or 8? I think 8 overall.
Yeah,
crazy good. Now, who becomes a better NFL passer? Eventually. Is it going to be Burrow or Lawrence? Really putting you on the hot seat now with this one, I know. Gio.
I mean, I think anyone can say anything because it can go any way, or you can go, Trevor Lawrence could be better. I think it's all about the situation they're put into. If Burrow goes to the Bengals, is he going to be successful? I have no idea. I'm not sure how that's going to work out. You know what I mean? But if Lawrence, like I said, would he be a number 1 pick right now? Probably not. Would he be top 10? I would say so. Is he going to a team that's better for his situation, or is he just going to a team that has the number 1 pick and that you know what I mean, and that isn't doing well right now? That's kind of how it works out. It has to shape out in their favor as well. We'll see. It's
about the situation you're put into, right?
Yeah.
When you're drafted. I mean, how about Baker Mayfield? Example A, maybe being in Cleveland, had some weapons this year, and
everyone
then
hyped them up.
What
so
happened?
Much.
Was it too much hype? Then you think?
When the Titans blew them out week 1, I thought we were gonna have a good season, and we did. But so much hype, and he's obviously still, second year. It was his second year. It was his first full year starting. At least they have some solidified quarterback at the position. I don't think they need to change away from him. They just need to keep sticking with him. For them to change quarterbacks would be a mistake, I think, right now, because they need some sort of consistency at the position. They never have consistency at this position. They're getting rid of their head coach. I think they need to bring somebody in that can kind of fit around what Baker does well. What, hopefully Odell stays, Landry stays. So they'll see how that shapes out. That's going to be interesting to see. But, if a coach comes in and tries to change what he wants to do and not what his players can do, that's where I think kind of gets, if you look at Joe Judge of the Giants, the new coach, he said in his press conference, I want to work what I have with my players and shape what I want to do with how I feel like it fits the players and who I have. And I think that's so important. Some coaches come in and say, we're doing it this way, this is my way, and if you're not good at it, well, that sucks. And it kind of happened to Mariota. He's not an under center quarterback. He's not an under center play action, stay in the pocket type quarterback. Like, he's a shotgun, zone read, spread option, and we weren't running any of that in the Titans. Like, didn't work out for him. That's why he got benched. Like, he can go somewhere
and still win somewhere else, you think?
He's going to go somewhere else next year for sure and play somewhere where they can actually utilize the way he plays. If you watch his first couple years in Tennessee, he was in the shotgun, he was in the spread, doing zone read, RPO, stuff like that, and he had success. He was, slowly working his way up, and he's somewhat regressed, and just because he's under center a lot. So my point is, like, if you get a coach that wants to change what these players, change how he thinks just because he has certain players, that's the way it needs to be. But if you try to force stuff onto players, so if a coach comes in and forces stuff on Baker Mayfield and makes them do certain things, it might not work out. It's the same thing with Lawrence or Burrow. So it's all kind of about the situation.
So it's about accommodating the players, right?
I think that's important. I mean, obviously not every coach agrees with that, but just from my experience, and, I've had 5 offensive coordinators in college. I had 5. So I had 5 different offenses, and, some are more like, we're doing this, we're doing this, we're doing that. And some are more like, okay, well, what can we do that's going to,
to suit your needs the most, right? Or what you do the best?
Just because we had so much, one kid was starting in the season and I started, whatever. But, yeah, there's differences. Like, if you have a quarterback that's more athletic and can run more, you're obviously going to do stuff that you can run more. But if you're not going to utilize that, then you're kind of wasting a lot of opportunity, I think.
So I'm going to ask you this question, even though I know what I think you'll say. Who wins the Super Bowl? I mean, I know who you want to win the Super Bowl.
Titans, baby.
With it being Tennessee.
If the Titans don't win the Super Bowl, I want to say, honestly, I feel pretty solid about the Niners, and I'm excited for that game with the Vikings this week. So I'll make some picks this week. But I was thinking, like,
on your podcast then too, right?
Yeah.
When does it come out, by the way, your next episode?
We're going to record Sunday night after the game so we can recap the games.
I like it. Good idea.
That's how we like to roll. We'll recap all the games. Hopefully I recap it with a happy mind after the Titans upset well, to me it won't be an upset, but to the rest of you guys it'll be an upset. So hopefully we do that. But yeah, I'm excited to see how the Niners play. Garoppolo plays, especially in the playoffs. It's going to be very interesting.
Jimmy G, baby.
Yeah, I think they're definitely going to. But I thought that with the Saints last week. Like, I picked the Saints.
Can't believe the Saints. Year in, year out, just getting upset in the playoffs. I mean, what's happened to them in the playoffs? And then referee calls not helping them out. But Drew Brees had to be better too.
Yeah, he didn't play well at all.
Didn't play well.
10 points going into like the fourth quarter. You're not going to win. Like, unless you're just locked down on defense and you're shutting them down. But yeah, that was tough. I picked them to win. They lost me some money.
So you picked them to win the Super Bowl? Or
no, I didn't pick the Saints to win the Super Bowl.
Just that game you're saying.
Right now it's tough. I mean, because honestly, if let's say the Ravens advance and the Chiefs advance, which a lot of people think is going to happen because they want that matchup. They want the Mahomes-Lamar matchup. That's what they want. The Chiefs can still win that game. Like, you know what I mean? They're still a good team. I think people are kind of writing them off just because they didn't have that unbelievable season like they did last year. Mahomes wasn't unbelievable. But if you look at the stats, I mean, they're putting up more points almost than they did last year. I'm pretty sure I saw a stat. They're putting up more points. It's either more points or more yards. So they're still unbelievable team. So it's going to be interesting. I think anybody really can take it at this point. Who's the other games? It's San Fran Vikings and Packers and the Seahawks.
Yes.
Packers Seahawks.
Russ Wilson against Rodgers. Correct.
Neither of those teams are going to make it to the Super Bowl, I don't think. I think whoever wins this game, I think if San Fran wins or if Minnesota wins.
It's going to be the
either one
NFC team in the Super Bowl. Okay.
Yeah, either one of those teams.
Wow.
I don't think.
I mean, no Rodgers love, no Wilson love. Is that because of the teams though that they are playing?
I think the Packers are a little overrated this year. I don't think.
I think from my perspective, based on the stats too, Rodgers wasn't as good. He wasn't superb this year.
Yeah, I don't think they're as good this year. I think they obviously have a good record. They're in the divisional round of the playoffs, but I mean, I don't think they're that good of a team. I think the Seahawks will probably beat them this week, but it is it's in Lambeau, so that's always a tough task. We're going to see. It's going to be interesting, but I think whoever wins the Vikings-San Fran game will make it to the Super Bowl. And then AFC, honestly, besides the Texans, I don't think the Texans are a good team. It's kind of wide open. I think there's 3 teams.
Especially because you consider Tennessee. Now there's 3 teams, with Tennessee included.
If you look at it, like Deshaun Watson made some plays at the end of the game, but
he was Superman. I mean, on the stretch there, that last drive to put them in field goal position to win that game, he was awesome, man.
I'm biased just because I don't like the Texans. I was at the game when Tennessee played the Texans a couple of weeks ago. Kind of shot herself in the foot, which is the reason we lost. I just don't think they're that good of a team.
Based on that game, how close Tennessee was to winning that game.
Necessarily just that game. It's just it's just like if you look at sometimes their offense doesn't produce, and than sometimes they do, and they're very inconsistent, I feel like, with their offense and how they produce. So I don't expect them to win this weekend. So we'll see, but I think it's going to be Chiefs, and I'm hoping my Titans, and we've already beat the Chiefs this year. So
see, I think it's sad to say, but I think, or for you, I guess, I see the Chiefs or Ravens advancing to the Super Bowl. And I think
for sure.
It's easy. It's a sexy pick. It's easy to say that right now.
It's very easy to say that because they're one of the best teams in the NFL.
People saying the Ravens are more than the Chiefs, like you said.
Oh, everyone's saying the Ravens.
Give love to the Chiefs. They were there in the AFC title game last year. Very close to winning. Should have won that game.
Writing them off. I know.
Right?
I know. They are.
And it's Mahomes, man, and Andy Reid. Andy Reid's due. Mahomes now is due. And I know Lamar Jackson had the more outstanding season. He's the MVP of this season. But Mahomes was last year. Threw for all those touchdowns a year ago. Yeah. You still have Mahomes there, man, and the Chiefs' offensive attack.
Everyone's on the Lamar Jackson hype train right now.
And I think Mahomes outduels Jackson. If they play each other,
I agree.
I see it happening, man.
It would be in Baltimore, but...
Yep, as the number 1 seed.
It would be in Baltimore. I mean...
So it would be an upset, I know. But the Chiefs are ready, I guess is my point, too.
The Chiefs are ready, and they've had experience in the playoffs already. Yeah. And Lamar Jackson last year did not... I mean, they made the playoffs.
Lamar couldn't throw last year. I remember.
Couldn't throw last year, and they didn't do in the playoffs. But I think he's gonna do better this year. So it's gonna be interesting, man. I think if the Chiefs win, which I expect them to do, and then I think it's gonna be a close game with the Baltimore and the Titans. And I know
you think it's gonna be a close game.
People got saying the Ravens as it's the Ravens, they're the best team. They're winning. It's a lock. But it's the playoffs, man. You never know.
Anything can happen, man. Don't write off Tennessee after beating New England. I mean, you should be able to beat
confidence.
Confidence booster.
That's huge.
Extraordinary, right?
For a team that has confidence, they beat the defending Super Bowl champions. They're moving on. They're playing the best team in the NFL. I mean, that just... And if you don't know, we've had some history with the Ravens. The Titans have a history with the Ravens where it's almost a rivalry because we used to be in the same division before we changed division, before the Texans were the Texans. So we were, I want to say it's the AFC... I want to say it was called the Central...
The Lions played in the NFC Central before it became the North. So I know there was a Central division.
We were the AFC Central with the Ravens. Like I said, back with Steve McNair and Ray Lewis was in his prime. And we had some close games with the Ravens. And then specifically the one I remember, 2010, we were 13-3, the number 1 seed. Baltimore won the wild card. They came into Tennessee, and they beat Tennessee. Titans are the wild card. They're going into the number one seed in Baltimore.
Going to be
Revenge.
Baltimore subsequently. Going to happen.
And that was with Chris Johnson in his 2000.
CJ2K, baby.
We were 13-3. So they beat us. So I think it's kind of flip for us. We're going to beat them.
So that's our NFL talk for this week's edition of Sundays with Dominic and Vito Gio. But the national title game, give me your prediction now for that one. Who wins?
I think LSU wins.
Okay, and
not
why?
Not comfortably, just because of the way they performed in their semifinal game.
Yeah, blowout against Oklahoma. Oklahoma didn't look like they belonged, and they had so much talent.
It's too bad because I thought it was
didn't look like they belonged. Yeah.
So I think LSU's going to win just because I think they're so well rounded. And if you look at Clemson, they started off really slow. They started off slow. They didn't play that well.
Ohio State had that lead.
Ohio State's going to win easily.
Yeah, looked like it. Dobbins was running all over them.
Yeah. So I think LSU's going to win just because I think they're a full team from first quarter to fourth quarter. I don't think they're going to start slow. And like I said, I don't really think Clemson, and I know they beat, they played Alabama, whatever, and they have some experience playing those SEC teams, but I think it's just that sometimes they haven't played anybody. Even Ohio State, I think would really struggle against LSU. So Clemson playing LSU, it's just I don't know. Because I almost think Ohio State was a better team for 3.5 quarters in that game.
It looked like it.
You know what I mean?
And then Lawrence turned it on. I mean, Lawrence didn't play a whole entire great game.
No.
But he turned it on when he had to, and has that clutch gene now. Is he that clutch performer that can get it done? Final drive against LSU.
We'll have to find out on Monday.
Should be fun Monday night. But hey, before I let you go now, one unique thing, Gio, about you that many people do not know. And I'll let you think about it for a second, too.
That many people don't know? I'm a scratch golfer.
Okay.
I guess. Some people know that. My buddy Jim Chapman doesn't think that he's just jealous. So if he's
envious of your skill, right?
I always beat him. So
sorry, Jim. Just gonna rub it in a little bit there, right?
Really,
I mean, something maybe even non-sports related, Gio, that you can think of.
I cut hair. I love to cut hair. I'm a barber.
So you cut your own hair then as well, right?
I can't cut my own hair. It's too difficult.
It's too much.
The angles.
Okay. Who cuts your hair then? Do I know the person or?
No, we don't know him. They have their barber shop over there on Garfield, an 18-mile in Garfield. They do a pretty good job over there. House of Fades. I'll plug House of Fades right now.
There we go. Little plug.
Fadi, my guy Fadi.
Little plug for Fadi and House of Fades. Nice.
Yeah, I cut hair. I cut hair throughout college. I started doing it in college.
For your teammates then at Rutgers too?
Yeah, I was in my dorm. I was like, man, because I like to draw. And drawing and cutting hair is very similar because obviously there's tons of shading and fading and different levels to it. And the way you use the blade of the clipper, it's very similar to drawing. So it's kind of something I was like, man, I actually like this. So I watched tons of YouTube videos, learned how to do it, practiced on my roommates' friends. Thank God they let me practice. So I definitely gave some bad haircuts. But then, I started doing it, after practice. Guys want lineups or they want, a quick, haircut. And we had a barber chair in there, so I would give haircuts all the time. So it's kind of something I like to do. Yeah, I don't think a lot of people know that besides, people that are my teammates just because I cut their hair a lot. But, yeah, I like to cut hair.
So one unique thing right there about, how about your podcast now? I'll let you plug it. What's it called? When does it come out? What do you guys talk about,
Outside the Box podcast with me, Vince Calderon, and Jim Chapman. We do it for fun, talk about football. Do stuff like that. Just more for fun. My buddy Vince runs the Final Count blog. He does a lot of predictions, a lot of analysis, game recaps. He gets kind of into the statistical analyticals of the game, which he likes to do. So, we do that for fun. We like to record. We like to have a good time on there, just like we did today, with you. So it's fun. Outside the Box podcast. We record, usually try to do it once a week. And if you follow Outside the Box, you'll see kind of how we roll. So.
And then how can people follow you on Twitter? What is your Twitter handle?
It's G_Rescigno 17. I know it's very Italian for a lot of people. They don't know how to pronounce it. But G_Rescigno 17. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram. Give me a follow.
It'll make you feel good, right?
Yeah,
so,
make you feel great.
You know what? Give Gio a follow. He's a good guy. He's a paisan. So we like him here at the Churko household and on Sundays with Dominic and Vito as well, man. Been great talking to you. Happy New Year as well to you and yours. We'll talk to you again soon.
All right, man. Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you.